Welcome to The Love Affair, a relationship podcast. Listen in as we discuss all things love and relationships starting now. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Love Affair podcast. I'm your host, Robin, also known as Robin the Renaissance.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Jimmy K, and we're back after a long delay.
We have been on spring break. We are currently recording this on Easter Sunday afternoon. It is quite a lovely spring day, and we were like, you know what, we got to get in here and record because we've been MIA for a couple weeks, so we're back.
It's been 3 weeks, I think?
I think so. It's been
right?
about 3 weeks since our last episode dropped where we were talking about judgment versus discernment. Still go back and check that out if you missed it. But we are here continuing the conversation about love and relationships. And we are looking over our 20 plus years of marriage and friendship. We are discussing our journey, and sometimes we get inspired by things in pop culture and we talk about that kind of stuff too, again through the lens of our love affair. So thank you for joining us.
I hope y'all missed us.
We sure do. We usually kick it off with our segment, what's good, what's great, what's going on, and we're going to do that, and then we're going to talk about Creed 3. That's one of the movies we enjoyed in the past month. I thoroughly enjoyed the themes in the movie. I want to jump into it. But before we do that, let's talk about what we've been up to since the last time we were here.
Since about a month ago.
What's good, what's great, what's been going on with you? And actually, I'm going to narrow it down just a little bit because since we're in April, we are at the beginning of Q2. So I'm going to ask you more specifically, what's good, what's great, what's going on regarding your vision board? How are you doing?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I kind of, in my mind, with my goals, I started off, but I got it in phases. So I had what I want to accomplish in January, February, March. That's like phase 1, and then phase 2. So phase 1, I feel like I'm about 95%. I guess how can I say it? I'm
Success rate?
Success rate. There you go. I had particular goals with my fitness. I've been hitting that pretty consistently. It's a few things, that I kind of want to make sure I stay more consistent on. Mm-hmm. As far as my financial goals, I'm 100% on those. So I know that makes you happy. That makes me real happy.
I know.
So I'm 100% on my financial goals. And if y'all remember out there in the podcast land, I wanted to start some studies, more in-depth studies on things.
I don't know if we went into specific details about what was on our board, but you had some.
I had some goals that I wanted to, I guess, learn some things or better understand some things. So with that, I feel like I did do a little bit of that in quarter 1. I feel like I'm about 85%, maybe 85%. So overall, I feel like with my vision board and goals, I think I'm doing okay for quarter 1.
Okay, good. Are there any areas where you're seeing you're a little more challenged and you feel like you got to recalibrate those goals in Q2?
Yeah. Because there was some things I want to do socially that I didn't even get to. Mm-hmm. And also like I said earlier with the phases, phase 2 that I wanted to start in April. Mm-hmm. I have to wait because I didn't even think about my schedule may change in May. So I'm going to kind of pump the brakes on those goals until I find out what my schedule is going to be. So, that just needs some adjustment. So
yes, mm-hmm. I think that's a key element there is that you can always just make the goal, set the vision, things like that. But life will also be life.
Yeah.
And some things will come up and cause us to make adjustments. So, but it's good to hear that overall you're at, it sounds like you said 85 to 95 on certain things.
Yeah.
So we'll land at 90%.
There you go. That's an A.
That is an A. You are passing. Very good. And you feel motivated to run on and see what the end will be.
I am. I'm gonna keep going.
Very
but
good.
It's important. It's an important thing to remember, or to maybe remember, is that like life does happen, and it's a good lesson of not letting life kind of get in the way of your goals. You still got to I still have to press through and keep him in mind and stay focused, because stuff. Well, the things we've had to deal with lately has been a bit of a booger, and it's been challenging to stay focused and keep my drive going. So
For sure.
it's a good lesson.
I like that. Yep. Okay. You want to hear how I'm doing?
I do.
Okay. Before I tell you how I'm doing, to anyone out there listening, let us know in the comments how you're doing. How 2023 is treating you. Let us know if you are hitting your goals on your vision board. Are you checking your progress? What tips, techniques you might want to share that are helping you? Do you have an accountability partner that's checking in and keep you going? I know that's helpful for us to just have somebody to, just check in, have somebody nudge, have somebody give you a pat on the back or a kick in the butt to keep it going. So you have been Coach Kearney a few different times.
A few times, yeah.
Yeah, over the past month or two. So I really appreciate that. So.
And also, y'all out there, what helps you all stay focused may help us.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I speak for myself. I'm looking for suggestions or techniques or whatever you want to call it. So feel free to share.
Yeah, we welcome it all.
What's going on? What's going on with you and your goals? And
Okay, so I will start with my high number. On my social / recreational goals, I'm giving myself a 95%.
All right.
Yeah. I think I am doing exceptionally well. One of the areas of my vision board was to nurture my friendships more, be more intentional about it. So over the past 6 months, I have consumed a lot of information, a lot of reports, listened to podcasts, listened to think pieces on the loneliness epidemic, the friendship famines, the challenges that adults are having making friends in adulthood, how various people are arriving at the age of 40 and 50 and they realize that they don't really have any close friends. And all I know is I don't want that to be me.
Right.
So I started to really evaluate how I'm showing up in my friendships. Do they know that they are loved and supported by me? Am I opening myself up, or is my calendar too jam-packed with other things that I'm just letting some of these lovely relationships just, get neglected? So over the past 3 months, I have been intentional about showing up differently in these friendships and carving out one-on-one time and having crucial conversations when needed and things like that. So I'm really proud of myself for that, because I am actually an introvert.
Yeah, we both are. Right.
And people are shocked by that because I'm like, I am a social introvert.
Yeah, I think they're more shocked with you than me, because I can be a little more reserved, especially in a group setting. But yeah, we both are pretty much the same. Yeah,
We're quite that way, and so sometimes I can just enjoy my solitude, and then I'm kind of like, where is everybody? Haven't heard or seen. So yeah, I gotta come out of my little shell.
Yeah,
and so I'm happy about that. Now I will say there are some goals in between these things, but that I feel like I am doing well. But I'll move to the one that I'm being most challenged by.
Let me just say, I want to co-sign you with the 95%.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and it makes me happy because you have a good group around you, and I like that. how did you say it? You just actively.
I was intentional.
Intentional. That makes me happy. I like it because I like your group. You know,
Yeah.
they're pretty cool.
Thank you. It's very wide and diverse. So yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
And the area that I am underperforming in is in a professional goal. I put something back on my vision board. There's a professional certification that I decided to pursue again, and it is quite challenging. And something happened personally in February, and I was dealing with like that distraction, dealing with grief. We lost a young kid, and so that grief just kind of threw everything off. And so in March, I set a very ambitious goal for myself regarding, studying and testing and things of that nature, and just trying to make up for lost time. And I just could not do it. As a matter of fact, it kind of burnt me out. And I was just like, I got information overload. I can't consume all of this data at one time because it's not sticking. So it led me to think like, why am I struggling with this thing? Why do I want this? Why do I need this? Do I need it? Now I feel like I'm just a little too far into the game to stop. Yeah. And I don't know that I want to stop, but I also know that I'm not as focused and on it as I would like to be. So that is the area that I'm underperforming in, but it is also raising questions, about, is this something I actually want to do this year, or at this time? Yeah. So, and that's okay too. It is always okay to recalibrate, reassess, and
it's all information.
And then reemerge.
Yeah, it's all information to for you to take into account, how you want to proceed going forward. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes I guess stuff happen and we can see if we really want something, or maybe it's a different reason, or whatever it is. So it's just good information.
Yes. This is a quick aside. What? I made tea. Oh. And it's a different brand. I'm not enjoying this.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna bail you out because I don't care for tea.
It's called afternoon tea, and it's kind of strong, and also it tastes like cigarettes. I know. Wow. Every time I drink it, I'm like, what is this tobacco-y? I gotta look at the ingredients and find out, did they use tobacco leaves to brew
Might have a
tea?
little bit of tobacco. Might have some tobacco in there.
Why does it taste like cigarette smoke?
Yeah.
Okay, so at some point I might pause this video and go run and make something else warm, because I enjoy having something warm to sip on, but this is not it.
That's not it. Okay.
I'm gonna throw the whole box away. I'm done with it.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, sorry, that was an aside, but what are we talking about? What's been going on with us? Good. You know what else is going on, or what was going on? We saw Creed 3. Before we saw Creed 3, we went back and watched 1 and 2. I went back to Rocky, and I was watching Rocky 2 and 3 and 4 just to gear up for it. I really, really like the whole Rocky / Creed franchise.
Right.
Those are really good movies.
Yeah, I think so. I hadn't seen Rocky in years, if at all, because some of them I hadn't seen, haven't watched. Going back watching it, I did not realize how good of a job Sylvester Stallone did in Rocky. I was like, whoa, he's and in Creed.
And in
Creed.
Didn't
he get nominated maybe for something in one of those Creeds?
I think in Creed. I think he was nominated or he may have won for supporting actor, and I think it was well deserved.
Yeah, I didn't give him enough credit before, but now I see what the big whoop is for Sylvester Stallone. So.
Yes.
But yeah, excuse me.
I will also say that I'm gonna go to Rocky 2. I watched that one. And I think, was it 2 or 3? Okay, so in this one, he was going to fight Mr. T. but he was deflated.
Yeah.
And Apollo Creed was trying to get him back in the gym, and he just could not get his head in the game. And there's a scene where he's on the beach, and Adrian, his wife, gives him the pep talk
Oh yeah.
of his life. Yes, Adrian. You know how I say sometimes you got to give somebody a little nudge, kind of like, come on, you can do it. Sometimes you need a little pat on the back, like, I believe in you, you got this. And then sometimes you need somebody to kick you in the rear and say, all right, now that's enough. Get up and get going, you know? Yeah. So Adrian gave him a swift kick in the butt. And in that scene, I actually started crying. I did. I was like, oh.
Go figure.
I know. Look at it. Me crying.
Gotta keep a box of tissues by you at all times.
Listen, I love a good cry, but I watched it and I cried because he was so low, and his head, he just wasn't there, and he shared his vulnerability with her, you know, about how he felt like he wasn't who he was, and she had to tell him, oh wait, you know. Somebody done told you wrong. You are who you are. And she gave him that talk. And, I just love that. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about love and relationships and marriage is that, you know, you have that partner who really, if you allow them to, really know you, really support you in the ways you need to be supported. And they are skillful in their delivery of the truth.
That's the key right there. Skillful.
Adrian was skillful. She masterfully was able to handle her husband and get him back on track. And he ultimately had the fight and won. And I said, this is excellent. Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Timing is everything.
Yes.
Timing is everything. We're going to talk about that later, right?
Ooh, we're going to get into it. So when we talk about the movie Creed. In the franchise, Creed 3 specifically, I want us to do a high-level overview, what you thought of the movie, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank the movie?
I think when we walked out of the movie theater, I was at like maybe a 9, 8.5, 9. So I'm going to stick with that. The reason I brought that up,
I don't like that tea.
The reason I brought that up, walking out, I had that rating was, I started thinking about it's been about a month since we watched the movie, so I'm like, I wonder was it really that good? You know what I mean? Like I remember parts of it, but I feel like I don't remember enough about it. So I don't know why I'm giving you all that backstory, but.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick at an 8.5, 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick there, with the option I want to watch it again, like I do with all movies. I want to watch it again to make sure my rating, my stars are legitimate.
Make sure it sticks.
Yep.
Okay. I am going to give it 2 different scores. Okay. There is a part of it that I enjoyed more than the others.
Okay.
So cinematically, okay. How I like how it fit in the
trilogy,
trilogy, in the franchise. I thought it was an excellent storyline showing the evolution of Adonis as a like foster kid, or he was in like a group home, and we watched his evolution into a husband and father, businessman. I mean, it fits so well. The movie itself, I really feel like I like the plot. You know me, I always identify where the plot just kind of drops off and leaves potholes and things. So I was kind of like, I wish I would have developed some of this a little bit more, but okay. It was nice visually to see certain things. I know there was a lot of eye candy. You had Jonathan Majors, you had, what's the boy's name? Michael B. Jordan. My goodness. You had all the other boxers. So it's a lot of eye candy and muscle and sweat and whatnot. But I was also like, Bianca, who is doing your hair?
Oh, you like
The
her
wife.
hair?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I liked Bianca's braids and her hair and her fashion choices at different times. I was just like, I like that too, you know? So there were certain things visually I enjoyed about it. So I'm going to give it, cinematically, I'm going to give it like a 8.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
So what's his other?
The other part for me, thematically, the themes in the movie, in the plot, I was taking notes in the movie theater, like, oh, that's good.
Right.
No, actually, I was on my phone. I was like, kept taking my phone out, like, let me write this down. Let me write.
Yeah, after about the 5th time, I was like, put the phone down and enjoy the movie.
I can't. It was so many wonderful gems in there. So I'm going to give that.
You might as well go 10.
I might give it a 10. I don't think I've ever given it.
But nothing's probably ever a 10. Maybe you should do like 9 point.
I'll give it a 9.7.
There you go.
Out of 10. So we're ranking the movie, but you know, there may be some people that don't fully know. So let's do just a quick overview.
Okay.
Hey there, are you enjoying the conversation as much as we are? Then let us know. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're here every other Thursday with a brand new episode, and you do not want to miss it. Okay, all right, back to the conversation. Okay, so a very quick high-level overview of Creed 3. We are seeing Adonis Creed in a whole new light. So he is now a former heavyweight champion. He's now a boxing promoter. He's running a gym. He has a boxing protege that he's getting ready for a world title match. Something like that. And he gets a surprise visit from his childhood friend, Dame. And Dame is basically calling in a favor that, okay, for the past 15 years, I've been in jail. You've been out here living my dream. Now it's time for you to pay up.
Basically,
I want to get my shot at boxing. And therein, you know, sets the course for the movie that Dame has this malicious intention to undermine Adonis's life at this point, you know, or his career.
Basically, just so he can get his shot.
He wants his
shot. He's
shot.
going to orchestrate it so he can get his shot.
Yeah, and basically, I guess, get even or something. But he is back on the scene with a gangster lean, and they end up fighting. And spoiler if you haven't seen it, Creed wins. But so that's the high level overview of the movie, is just really giving us a glimpse into more of Adonis's life and what happened over the past 15 years.
Yeah.
When we met Adonis in 1, he was in a group home. And he was a scrappy little thing. Marianne, his dad's wife, decided to go and adopt him or be his guardian. And we see that under her watchful eye and care, he grows up, he's successful, he goes to college, he's working in a corporate job in finance, and he rediscovers, I guess, his love for boxing. And he decides to quit his job. So he leaves LA and decides to fly to Philly, and he meets Rocky, his dad's boxing friend, and he decides to train under a pseudonym. He meets Bianca, as we know, his wife.
Eventual wife.
Yes. And from that point, you know, to Creed 3, seeing him change and evolve in his relationship with Bianca, his love and affection, devotion towards Marianne and hers toward him. We see that Creed, Adonis, he really has had a good life. Marianne really did help shape him and mold him to help him become who he is in Creed 3. Also Bianca. So I love seeing that part of him, seeing the family man, seeing the businessman, seeing that he had family. Because like I said, we saw him, he was in a group home. His mom had abandoned him. He didn't have any roots, any connections that we knew of at the time.
Right.
So I really enjoyed seeing that part of the story play out. One of the plot lines that, again, could have been a little developed was that we didn't see Rocky at all in 3. He wasn't even mentioned. So it was like, did Rocky die? What's going on with Rocky? But, that's just one demerit. But because I would have liked to at least
lay your eyes on him a little bit.
Yeah, find out something, but we didn't get it. But okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Dame's journey at all? Because we didn't know anything about Dame until he showed up in 3.
No, I'm talking about him.
No? Okay, well, high level over Dame.
I thought I was saying we don't got to talk about him, period.
Oh, well, anyway. I mean, just to play into the plot of the movie, like, why did Dame show up? What's going on?
He was in prison for 15 years?
Yes.
You want to start somewhere
I'll just say,
there?
Yeah, I'll go just a smidge before then. So when Dame showed up on the scene, it was a surprise to everybody, including Creed, because we didn't even really know that he had any friends.
Right.
We never had any real relationships outside of the boxing world.
Right.
And with Marianne and Bianca. So just a lone wolf. So we see in 3 that him and Dame were friends. And Dame had the ambitions to be a professional boxer. And we see that he was kind of like a big brother to Adonis. And he took him under his wing and gave him money, and he really looked out for him. And on one particular night, the fateful night, Creed and his little high-headed self hit a man named Leon and is fighting with him at the liquor store. And Dame comes to his defense, pulls out a gun, and ultimately the police show up. Dame is arrested. He's sent to prison. He's a 16-year-old boy.
Ran.
Yes,
Creed ran
but
off.
Dame is a 16-year-old boy who was arrested on weapons charges and sent to a grown man's prison for 15 years. He told Creed run, and when Creed ran, he ran and never looked back. And he went on, like I said, to create this wonderful life, but he never looked back to see about a friend.
Right.
And Dame is sitting in prison like, I'm watching your trajectory. I'm following your career. I'm writing you letters. Dude, I'm in here because I was looking out for you and you aren't looking out for me. What's the deal?
Right.
So when he showed up at the gym, at Creed's gym, I think, or Hal's gym, wherever he showed up.
Outside his gym, because he was sitting there, he was kind of leaning on Creed's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They meet up and they're chit-chatting a little bit. And we can feel the tension. It's kind of like, what is going on? So they kind of are letting us know there's something going on there. But Creed insults Dame by offering him money.
Oh, when it was at dinner or lunch or whatever?
Yeah, because they met up. And he offers him money. So Dame is like, yeah, I just got out of prison. I got some things in the work. And Creed just like, you need some money? And he was like, no, I don't need money. But here's what I do need. I need to box, and you're going to help me.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Overview.
High level as it can be at this point. Go watch the movie. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
So, when Dame comes on the scene, everybody that knows about him, like Marianne,
that's really the only person.
No, the uncle, his trainer, knew. Right? Maybe not.
Oh no,
anybody knew him. Okay, scratch that.
Yeah.
Nobody knew but him. But when he shows up and he's bringing Dame around his gym, around his family, whatnot, people are a little leery of him.
Yeah.
And moreover, I don't want to talk about the movie too much, but you gave it a 8. What'd you give it?
8.5.
8.5. What are some things about the movie that you gave it an 8.5 for?
Number one, it was the acting. I thought they all did a good job of acting. If we're just talking about cinematic part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, the acting for me was up there, top notch. You had mentioned earlier how you like the flow of it from the trilogy, from Creed, going back to Rocky to Creed and all the way up. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a nice seamless-ish.
Transition.
Yeah, transition. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, it's the order of progression of people's lives, or in particular Creed. I think it just followed that very well. So it's like a story, like what's your famous line? A story well told. That's kind of that's kind of how I feel about it. So it didn't leave, for me, it didn't leave a lot of gaps. I know some chatter out there, like felt like it was maybe had more of plot holes, or I don't know if it plot holes or whatever. For me, it was okay. Mm-hmm. I got what they were selling. So it was like I didn't necessarily need more of a background for certain storylines or anything like that. So for me, it was okay for me.
What did you think about Okay, I'm going to stick on topic with acting. I'm going to say this. I think Jonathan Majors is a phenomenal actor, and I do not think that Michael B. Jordan is. I think
you said that out loud.
Out loud.
Wow.
And I'll add more to it before I take anything away. I really feel like, although I'd like him in these roles, where he's more suited up. Like the boxing, okay, fine. But I feel like Michael B. Jordan does a better job where he's more suited and booted. When he is kind of walking around, like working the room, he's in a suit, he's playing the part of the businessman. I like that. In that other movie of his, Just Mercy, and he's playing the lawyer, I like that. When he needs to play roles where he needs to really dig deep and emote and deliver lines and take us on his emotional journey with him, I think he is struggling as an actor to do that for me.
Yeah.
So, and I think there's also something in his voice that maybe it just doesn't have enough. It's something in his voice that still sounds a little adolescent to me. So when he's trying to play tough, it just doesn't feel believable. So as much as I enjoy Black Panther, I felt like, okay, Killmonger needs just a little more.
I thought he did all right in there, man. I really did. I really did. I ain't got no qualms with him. And
he's not menacing. Okay,
I thought he was.
Listen,
I thought he was.
You thought he was. Listen, I followed Michael B. Jordan from The Wire.
I was going to bring that up.
All My Children, when he left The Wire and was doing All My Children, to, his movie career. And I'm still kind of like, okay.
You didn't think he did a good job in The Wire?
They were kids.
I know,
I think
but
I
still
think
The Wire was good. Of course
was he exceptional? No.
I don't know. I hear you. I mean, I don't share your venom. No, I know. I know it's not venom. I'm just messing with you, but I think he's fine. I think he does all right.
Okay.
Yeah. We agree to disagree then, huh?
We sure do.
Wow.
Because he got that movie on Prime where I think it's a Tom Clancy movie, him and Lauren London.
That was good.
The movie is good.
You still don't think? Okay. We haven't watched that in like a year or two. I thought he did fine. I thought I got it.
You got, okay, I can
I'm not saying he's like Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, or anything like that.
He is not.
But I'm just saying there are worse. I feel like there are worse actors. More. That's bad English. There are worse actors that are more famous that still don't make sense.
Than him,
in my opinion.
oh,
I ain't gonna mention any names because I don't wanna fight.
that's fine.
Not with
but
you,
I'm
but
just
with
saying,
comments. I don't want
okay,
to fight. So
that's fine. I'm
yeah.
just saying, as an actor, I felt like Jonathan Majors. I was more focused on Jonathan Majors' delivery of Dame than I was of Michael B. Jordan's delivery of Creed.
And yeah, Dame, what's his name? What's Jonathan Majors? Yeah, he stole the show.
He stole
the show.
I
for
felt
me.
like
Yeah.
it could have been called Dame. It didn't need to be called Creed 3. It could have been called Dame and them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
okay. All right.
yeah.
We got off on that one, didn't we?
A little bit, but you, for me, okay, so we know where we stand on the movie itself or whatever, right? Are there any other things about the movie you liked as far as why you would give it an 8 or 9? Because I think you liked something about his and Bianca's relationship.
I liked their relationship. It was one scene in particular when their daughter got in trouble at school. She got into a fight at school, so they had to meet with the principal or the teacher. And while they were meeting with the teacher, Creed was getting a little fired up, a little upset. Like, why is my daughter in trouble when the other student started it, basically? And you could see him getting kind of a little frustrated, a little worked up, but then his wife Bianca kind of just made a little gesture to him to kind of, calm it down. And she began to speak and kind of maybe ease the tension in the room. Mm-hmm. And what I like about that, it was, number one, I feel like it showed their Creed and Bianca's connection. It was like it's a trust there between the two. And I say that because when she made the gesture to him to like calm down, he immediately just kind of backed off. You know what I mean? And number two, the other part that I really like about it is the way she did it. The way Bianca kind of calmed the situation down. She didn't like throw him under the bus. She didn't chop his balls off. She didn't, excuse me. She didn't, the way she did it was subtle enough to where it left Creed with his dignity. So, I don't know, I just like that a lot because we've been in situations, I might have put you in there, in situations you might put me in there, but we have seen situations where the way the wife or the husband talks to their spouse in front of others, it's just such an uncomfortable kind of record scratch maybe, but it's so uncomfortable, and it's like everybody's kind of looking around like, dang, what's about that? Are they about to argue now? Because what was just said, you know what I mean? So, it's, I don't know. I really, really like that part of it because, nobody wants to be dressed down in front of a crowd, or even, you ain't got to be dressed down with a whole lot of words, but just a certain look or maybe a, what you want to call it, like an abrupt or statement or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't find the right phrase.
Coarse.
Yeah, something coarse. Nobody wants that in front of people. So,
I agree with you because they both approach the situation with two different views. Yeah. But you're right. And I like that they did balance each other. I did enjoy seeing their chemistry and how their marriage was evolving. I loved seeing him as a dad, especially with him not growing up with any models of a father and not having been able to grow up in a nuclear or / traditional family dynamic. Seeing him in those roles with his wife and with his daughter and at the school, I really, really liked seeing all of that play out. One thing about their relationship that was irking me, it was him. But you just said something that made me now reassess. The thing that was irking me about their relationship was how secretive. Was he secretive or was he private?
I think he was private.
Because
I think he was private in the sense that some people have a hard time expressing certain emotions. I think the hurt and anger that he felt from his past, it makes it harder for somebody like that to maybe speak and to be vulnerable enough to share what's really bothering them. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that from personal experience. I just know it just feels, it's just harder to express it to anybody. It's just, even somebody that's close, that you live with, you see on a daily basis. Sometimes it's just hard to maybe speak up. So I don't think he's secretive.
I think he's a little of both. Because I didn't like that Bianca had to work so hard to get basic information out of this man.
I'm not saying it's fair, but yeah.
And when Dame and her are talking at her record release party, and he brings up the Leon, was his name Leon? The
group home leader.
The group home Leon issue. And she's kind of like, who is this? And he's like, oh, I guess you got to talk to your husband about this or something. I don't know, some kind of way he left her with that information. And so she asked her husband, who is Leon? And how do you guys, what's his story? What's his backstory? Because he didn't talk to her about his childhood. He didn't share a lot of things with her. And if we go back to Creed 1, when they met, he didn't tell her that his dad was Apollo.
Yeah.
And so she felt frustrated with that, and so it's kind of like you are building this relationship with this woman, but you're still having a really hard time being open and sharing and being vulnerable. So I have to, because you said trust, and I said, I can see why he was still how he could still be in protective mode, even though we saw him in an expanded role of husband, as an adult, as husband, as father. And also, his relationship still with Marianne was still pretty healthy. We still see that he was struggling with that. So now I can give him a little pass.
Yeah, and I'm not giving him a pass for not sharing certain things or sharing things with his wife or whatever. But I don't know, I hear the word secretive. I feel like that's a little more devious. It might be semantics, might be split the hairs. But it's not like he's secretive where he's like, you have a whole nother life somewhere else, or you got secret bank accounts or something like that. To me, that's what secretive, I lean to those type of scenarios, I think he struggled expressing himself.
I think a couple things then. Okay. He might be secretive. He might be, and I think he is, because
I don't like what you're saying right now.
When he, okay,
no, go ahead. No,
two things can be true, and I hear you out on it, and I'm also saying that it was an issue in their marriage, but when
I
they were able to have those conversations, and you could see his walls were coming down, and he was allowing her in to his heart a little more. I really did enjoy seeing that, and I'm glad they added that to the movie.
Yeah, because that was you talking about when he finally opened up. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, after Marianne's funeral, I believe he really started to talk about his past, and I'm gonna just pivot here to go to his relationship with Dame, because I feel like him being somewhat secretive or private about his past. I think there's a lot of pain there. He had a lot of guilt, maybe some shame about how he was conceived, how he was abandoned by his birth mom, how he was neglected and abused in his foster home and in the group home, system, things like that. Perhaps. And those aren't pleasant memories to go back and rehash. Yeah. And I think once he got to a point in his life where he was like, I don't want to focus on that, I'm moving forward. He just tried to forget about his past and everybody in it.
Yeah.
And you cannot outrun your past. You have to, I don't know what the tools are, but at some point you have to face it, or it's going to show up and face you, which is what Dame did.
Yeah.
So I think that whole intrusion on his current day life forced him to say, okay, I got to go back and reconcile some things in my past as an individual. I got to reconcile some things with my friendship with Dame. And I also have to, do better here in my marriage, and show up. So that was one of the nuggets that I pulled from with him not being so forthcoming about his past and maybe even his identity, how it shaped him. Because again, going back to Creed 1, he was trying to show up in the world as his own man, his own person. And I think it was Rocky who was maybe helping him to see, it's okay to be part of your dad's legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about it. I was just remembering, hopefully my memory is correct from the movie, but it did seem like the directors or whatever maybe tried to show that was a painful past. It is a painful past. And I think when he finally opened up to Bianca, you could see, I think he maybe had broke down or whatever.
Let me interject.
What?
I don't know if he did or not, because Michael B. Jordan cannot emote well as an actor. So I don't know.
That's your opinion.
His
That's
serious
your opinion.
face looks like his menacing face. Looks like his sad face.
Wow.
Okay. I digress.
You are something else. You know that? You are something else. But anyway,
if he cried,
now you done messed
cried.
up Center, and now I got to bring Center back.
Let's just agree he
might
have cried.
He might have cried, or it showed some type of pain there.
Okay.
From his past. So that is, nobody. Listen, everybody runs from pain at some point. Nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to relive hurtful things in the past. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to do that. So, I don't know exactly where I was going with it, but I think something you said a few minutes ago made me think about that scene, and that maybe you was giving him a little more of a pass or something about. I guess I'm just co-signing that was a painful pass, and it was just hard to communicate that, even with somebody you love.
Now I'm gonna shift to Dame, because I like him as a villain here.
Yeah.
But also, I was frustrated with this man, and I even though I understood.
He's frustrated with his facial expressions.
No, I'm saying his story,
okay,
his intrusion on Adonis's life, Creed's life. I could tell he had a little bit of haterade. I could tell that was rooted in jealousy. He was looking at it like this was supposed to be me, living in this house, having the wife and the title and the kid, but instead it's you. You stole my life. But that's not how it went down. Right. He didn't steal his life, but he kind of borrowed the idea from his friend Dame and took this path. And, so I understood Dame's jealousy and or envy. I didn't agree with the way he went about exacting, I guess, revenge
the were awful.
I don't even know, would that be considered vengeful?
Whatever it was, whatever his methods.
Yeah. I was not okay with it.
Me neither.
But it sure did make for a good movie.
Yeah, it did.
But one thing I'm gonna say about Dame, and maybe it made me think about how I'm showing up in my friendships. Well, I was thinking about that before, but looking at it now through the lens, I can sympathize with Dame because he was a good friend to Creed. Yeah. He was such a good friend, and Creed was man. He was a baby. They was a kid.
Yeah,
he
was a kid.
Kids. But still, once you got older, you forgot about this man. You didn't even attempt. Let's put Marianne's actions aside.
That's what I was. Okay, that's what I was about to say. Do you think it might have been different if he would have got the letters? You know what I mean? It could have been. We don't know. We don't know. So another part of the movie, Dame was writing Creed for years from prison. Marianne was intercepting the letters and keeping them from Creed. Hence the color purple when Mr. was taking
Nettie's letters and not letting Celie have them. And then Celie found out about it years later. Well, Marianne gave Creed the little box and said, I've been keeping all these letters from him because I didn't want you wrapped up in his foolishness. So Creed is now mad at Marianne, but now he's understanding that my friend who covered me, who's in prison because of my hot-headed temper having self, he was reaching out for me, but I realized that I ain't ever looked back for this man. And he got to reconcile that. That, okay, maybe as kids he didn't have the resources, but as the world champion, you had a friend who helped you get here, and you did not even consider reaching out and saying, you know, hey, how's it going? Can I put money on your books? Whatever. And I'm sure Dame felt some kind of way about it, because I for darn sure would.
I would too. But let me just back up a little bit. At the start of this podcast, I really didn't expect to hear a Color Purple reference. So thank you for that. You said Mr. and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wasn't expecting that. But anyway, I would be pissed off too.
I got a pocket full of references.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you're pulling them out now. But no, I think anybody, any sane person can understand his pain or his anger or whatever. You know what I mean? Anybody could, but yeah.
Okay. Dame and Adonis's relationship makes me think of the Layla Hathaway song, When Your Life Was Low. Have you heard that? Okay.
You gonna sing it?
Oh, I'll sing a little bit of it. But this is the challenge to my listeners, our listeners today. Go and listen to Layla Hathaway and Joe Sample's song called When Your Life Was Low, because the overall gist of the song is, number one, it's a beautiful song, and Layla's voice, oh my God.
Did you cry on that one too?
Oh my gosh. No, stop. But if you've ever been in a friendship dynamic where A, you were the person supporting a friend when they were low, or you were the person who was low and a friend supported you, and that relationship has now dissipated, consider reaching out to those friends. That was one of the themes that stood out to me in that movie, was that, you know what? They got some reconciling to do with each other, but moreover, listen to the song, do yourself a favor, and just enjoy it. But that's pretty much the theme of the song, right? Now, I'm not going to bust out in the solo because you lean forward
I was waiting. You said
sing. No, it's not like that, but it goes something. Give me a beat. No, don't give me a beat.
You know the song. I give you an old jacked up beat.
No. Okay, I am not Layla Hathaway, but the song goes something like this, okay?
Well,
Stop. Oh, you playing too much. I can't play and sing. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to sing. Okay. But it goes a little bitty something like this. Always remember, my friend, the world will change again. And you may have to come back from everywhere you've been. When your life was low and you had no place to go, everyone turned their backs on you. I don't know the words, but basically she's saying something like, I was your soft place to fall. You came to me all battered and bruised. She ain't say it like that. Yeah. But when you left me, she said, when you left me, you were shining. And I said, oh, yes. When you left me, you were shining.
Yeah.
And now I hear through the grapevine, you are doing so well. And I'm happy to hear that. But I want you to know that I really loved you when your life was low.
Yeah.
And just always remember, my friend, that the world will change again. And there may be a time when you're going to have to come back from everywhere you've been and see me. And I feel like that was Dame. Dame was saying, well, who do we have here? Old friend.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did I get there? How'd I get there? Because Adonis, he was trying to run from his past, but his past said, I got you right there. Come on. Like in the
Sit your
cartoons.
behind down.
You ever seen the cartoons? I think it's little Jerry Mouse or something be doing something crazy. He running off and then little Tom picks him up by his neck and he just be spinning in the
Or
air.
probably step on his tail. So
Or step on his tail so he can't run. So Dane was like, I got you. I'm stepping on your tail so you got to face me.
Yeah.
And so he had to come back from everywhere he's been and deal with his old friend.
Yeah.
Come on. So
There you go. You didn't preach the whole sermon.
boy.
No, I meant that as a compliment.
All right, fine.
I meant that as a compliment. 100% a compliment.
Yeah. Just so you know, if you're judging me based on my pitchy singing and my Layla Hathaway impersonation, do not. I'm going to implore you, do not.
You sounded beautiful to me.
I did.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're my very best friend, and I do
know.
appreciate it.
Sing that song. Thank you for being a friend.
Oh.
All right. That's it. That's all the singing I'm ever going to do on this podcast.
Stop. And we met in a choir, and
I was lip syncing.
okay, we're not gonna get off center. We're not gonna get off center, but I'm gonna tell you when we get to when we get to an episode where we talk about the bane, the things we love of each other, and the things we cannot stand to this day.
Yeah.
The fact that I try to have choir. Okay,
You be trying to have. I could be
sing
sitting
your part.
there.
Sing
No.
the notes I give you.
That's not the issue. I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, or watching TV, or on the sticks or something, and then you singing and say, "Jim, you know your part. Sing." I was like, "I'm not singing. I'm not here for choir rehearsal.
Every day it's choir rehearsal.
Every day is not choir rehearsal. I'm not singing. I'm gonna sit here and sip my coffee. I'm gonna let you walk around the kitchen, sliding your feet, singing and all that stuff. But don't rope me into it.
If you hear music playing, you gotta sing to it. You gotta move to it. That's the rule of life.
Are you done?
Center is somewhere
Are
here.
you done?
We'll find it.
Are you done?
I'm trying to find center.
There it is. I done brought it back. Come on, somebody.
Stop. Okay.
Where are we? What are we doing? Where are we?
We are back to the movie.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to come back because the way I get angry about him not holding his notes and the way I feel about I'm serious.
Yeah, I know you are, but
and I'm back.
You've been doing that for 20 something years, and
because
I'm just
I was duped.
I'm unaffected. I'm unbothered. It's like I'm not singing.
Listen,
I sing when I want to sing.
The fact that we met.
I was lip syncing. We already know. That's what you should say. I was really
and you
singing.
saw me.
Yeah, I saw you.
I'm serious about my ish. I'm on the front seat, on the front row.
Yeah.
Because I'm serious about my ish. And
I was on the back row because that's where the tenor section was. I was in the tenor section.
You married me under the guise that we were going to have a musical relationship. That's not true.
I was about to say, I didn't marry that. It wasn't nowhere in the vows talking about if you're going to decide to have a spur of the moment choir rehearsal that I got to join.
Let's go back to episode 2, 3, or somewhere where it's like, what marriage vows will we add, change?
You'll add that in there?
Choir rehearsal, carte blanche, ad nauseum, and any other legal technical terms.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
What?
If you had to put those in the vows, we may not have gotten married. I'm just saying. I'm not singing. I was forced to be in the choir. Well, you know that story. I was forced by my mom and others in the church, like being 14 years old. Either you gotta pick something to do. Either you
should have went to the usher board.
I ain't gonna sit up there ushering anybody. So my two options were to join the choir, which turned out to be an a cappella choir, which made it even worse, or join the usher board.
Listen, the way that you behaved today, I wish you would have been on the usher board. Because I thought that you were going to
wish I would have joined the usher board too if I knew I was going to have a spur of the moment choir rehearsals. So, whatever.
At this point, the only way we can resolve this is for you to just come on board. And when I give you your note, when I give you your part, I need you to hang on to it like you got a handle.
I've been telling you for 20 years. No, I do sing on occasions, but I'm telling you, I've been telling you for 20 years.
And when you're singing and then I come in and try to harmonize and I try to go, you just stop me. You're like,
Yeah.
It didn't take all
It
that.
didn't take all that.
No,
Or I didn't ask you to.
Okay.
I didn't. Anyway, whatever.
I'm going to make my eyes real small at you in just a minute. I'm going to make my eyes real small at you in just a minute.
Okay.
But I'm going to choose not to.
Well,
And get back on topic.
You know what I want you to choose?
Talk about what?
I want you to choose to hear me when I speak. For 20 years, I've been telling you I'm not going to choir rehearsal. You could very easily just sing yourself and don't try to rope me in or don't try to volunteer me.
The answer is no.
Okay, well, you know what my answer. Did you hear my answer? I'm not having any choir rehearsals.
What did Malcolm X say?
Especially when I'm drinking coffee in the morning.
Go follow me. Follow me here. What did Malcolm X say? He called Betty on the phone.
Oh, he called
said,
Betty and
Did
said,
you hear my question?
Yeah, he said, Betty, will you marry me? She said, yes. She said, yes, real fast. He was like, did you hear my question? She was like, did you hear my answer?
Angela Bassett did the thing.
Mm-hmm.
We are all over the place.
I know. Center.
At some point, Center got to show up and keep us tethered because we will play all day. Yeah. Okay, back to...
Go on. Where are... I'm seriously, I don't know where we are.
We were talking about Creed 3.
I know Creed, but like...
Yes, we were talking about Dame's perspective on how the relationship, the friendship broke down and changed from his vantage point. But that's all the time we have for today, but we're definitely continuing the conversation in the next episode. You don't want to miss it. Before you go, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, rate, follow, do all of those things that will let us know you enjoyed the conversation and that you support us. That would really encourage us to keep going. So until next time, thank you so much for listening and take care.